The boys are back.
Boys are back.
Ian. Apparently,
Ian?
you're the Banana Bread Bandit in Boston. Is the word on the street right now?
There's something to that. Well,
It's pretty wild, man.
yeah. You like that one?
Yeah, that was a good one.
He was up to his old tricks
How about the
today, too.
Fritos?
I couldn't believe it. He almost got us pinched, this kid.
Ian, so do you like to normally shoplift like that?
I don't know if I like to shoplift. I don't like to pay for things.
Hey, me neither.
Yeah, there you go, John.
So do you think there's a difference between shoplifting and not paying for things?
No, not really, I guess. It's one and the same.
They're both the same
Do you like to
category?
pay for things?
I mean, I feel like I don't want to go back to prison, you know?
See, I look at it like I'm not going to go back to prison for stealing a bag of Fritos out of New Deal, you know.
You stole fucking Fritos out of New Deal?
No, allegedly.
Hypothetically, allegedly?
They got some good subs, though.
Oh, yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah, really
that
good.
prosciutto poppy sandwich is terrible, though.
Yeah. What the fuck? You know what I mean? We got, I got to talk to him.
They
I
need
gotta
a
talk to him about it.
Beanshooter sandwich.
I know, where's the Beanshooter saying? We ain't in Lowell.
Yeah, we
That's
should
the
have went.
problem.
We should have
Okay,
went how to
alright.
talk with them
Yeah,
today
I know.
about that. Hey,
We ain't in Lowell.
there's a new
If we was
sheriff
Lowell-
in town.
Yeah, new sheriff.
Tell him, Mike. I tell the jokes here.
Yeah, I'll tell the jokes around here.
You should tell the banana bread story, though.
You want to? All right.
I think it's really funny.
So the other night I go in Dunkin' Donuts, and I've stolen from there in the past, and it's another downfall of having a big social media account is everyone's watching. So I go in the other night, and they got these things of banana bread on the counter, and I guess the kid working got in a little trouble, so I don't want to, but he was busy, right? He wasn't watching me every second, which So I stole a piece of banana bread, and then I stole another piece of banana bread. But what I did was I went and gave it to a homeless guy, right? It's like stealing from the rich and giving to the poor. Deal that was that night.
Yeah, I was going to say, I know there was two pieces because you posted it. Say everybody's watching you. You posted it.
Robin Hood.
Yeah. So fuck corporate, as we say. And so I a couple days later I go back in the Dunkin' Donuts and I walk in. It's in the morning, so there's a lot of people in there, and all of a sudden this girl walks over to me. She's a manager. She comes over to the counter. She's like, "Excuse me, sir, can I have a word with you?" And the only time I ever heard "excuse me, sir" in my life was when I was shoplifting, walking out the door, and loss prevention's coming after me. So I knew it wasn't good. So I said, "All right, so what's up?" She goes, "You stole 2 pieces of banana bread the other night." So I said, "Well, first off, I'm Mike. How are you?" She says, "I know who you are." Shuts me right down. And then she says, "And you stole a donut a few months ago." I said, "That I did." That I did. So I said, "Where do we go from here?" And she says, "You can stop by paying for the 2 pieces of banana bread." So I says, "All right." So I'm getting my morning coffee. So I go over, and she calls this guy over, and she says, he's got to pay for 2 pieces of banana bread. And she said, "Do you want anything else?" I said, "Yeah, give me a small hot black." And she walks away. So I get my coffee, and I'm going to leave. And the guy says, "Hey." I said, "All right, what's up?" He goes, "You forgot your 2 pieces of banana bread." So I said, "Oh, yeah, thank you." So I grabbed them and stuffed them in my pocket and walked out. So I'm still up 2 pieces. I'm still up 2 pieces of banana bread.
But when you post that, what do you think the lady's going to do?
I didn't post it yet because Instagram shadow banned me again.
Yeah, what's going on with you and Instagram?
I don't know.
I could post all this crazy stuff about like guys stabbing people in the joint,
But you know what?
and I'm not banned.
But you know what you didn't post?
What?
Anything political, which I shouldn't have.
You got to stay anti-politics.
I know. I should have stayed right in the middle.
Neutral,
You know?
Neutral. Yeah,
I
neutral.
Yeah. And
Always
I
stay
posted,
neutral.
Posted something stupid, just stirring the pot. Because, you post something like that, it's going to get a lot of comments. And so I posted a video, and it got, 1.4 million views right away. And then, bang, I opened my Instagram in the morning, and we removed the post. And, so now I'm shadow banned. So I'm kind of waiting to post the other one about him giving me the banana bread back. So.
It's crazy that you have this effect. Like when you post a video of Beanshooter, like they all do well. It's like the algorithm knows who he is.
Yeah, sometimes I get an alert. It'll say, "We referred your content over others," and I had to show someone like, "What's this mean?" And what it means is people are like reposting my video, and that they must pick it up, my voice, and know it's mine. So like they push that instead of somebody else's.
Well, the flip side to that is that
they're watching you.
You get banned more than anybody else, shadow banned more than anybody else as well.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah,
It's-
speaking of
that's the double-edged
Instagram,
sword.
you're almost at 10,000 on there, man.
Are you?
10,000.
Yeah, he's almost there.
I'm
You're
almost
grinding.
at 8,000.
Yeah, but
I'm
that's when
grinding.
I first met you, you were at like 3,500 or 4.
Yeah, 3.
I'll take the
When
credit
when
for that one.
Listen, I don't know, but when I hang out with Mike, I don't know. The numbers go off the charts. So I got mostly Mike put me on the map, right? So first it was Jermaine Wiggins that put me on the map, right? Talking about me on the radio show all the time.
Yeah.
And then hanging out with Mike. So is the only fly in the whole joint is going to come hang on my microphone? I mean, is this what this
I
is
think you
doing?
put yourself on the map.
It's the
though.
feds.
I think you put yourself on the map.
Yeah, it's been
We helped you along the way, you know?
it's a whirlwind, buddy. It's a whirlwind.
Yeah,
for
you're
sure.
doing
This
pretty
is-
good, Johnny Bar. Everyone knows you.
I had 150,000 views on yours.
And climbing, man.
And climbing.
You beat out Beanshooter.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No
It's,
one likes a petty thief, you know?
I think it's the thumbnail. Yeah, the thumbnail. You could have put one on Beans and made him get 150,000.
I didn't even look. What am
I
I
should have
didn't
changed
look.
it to bank robber, but
Yeah.
he didn't really want to promote that he got away with some of them, you
Yeah.
know? So,
But what he doesn't do in the videos, he certainly makes up for on Instagram.
but
right?
meanwhile, we know that he's out here shoplifting left and right. He's
No,
got
we didn't
sticky
know that.
fingers.
We didn't know
No,
that.
now
but
we
we should have
know.
known after
Yeah.
the fucking Dunkin' Donuts episode.
Pete, I can't
right?
ever go into a place with you
No,
again.
no,
That's a
no,
bad
no.
look.
I mean, I'm sending pictures to Prosciutto Papi and Tommy Garino. Hey, we're in the new deal. What's up? You know, next thing we know, Mike's going to get arrested for shoplifting. They're going to be like, we don't know those guys.
Meanwhile, we're probably going to be banned from there.
No. We'll
But
be
the
good.
wait was kind of long.
Yeah.
But the
So-
subs were amazing.
Subs
I just
were
forgot to
amazing.
pay. I started eating them.
I paid. All you had to do was put the
No, I
fucking
meant-
thing on the counter.
I see it. I
Johnny's
ate half
only
and I
meal
put it in my
from us.
pocket. You know.
Yeah, Johnny's going to be holding against
See, he
that.
had to mention that he paid for.
Yeah,
something.
right. Because this is the one time I'm ever going to pay, and I just want everybody to know that I paid.
Yeah.
In 2027, I'm going to be, you don't remember I paid for lunch at New Deal?
Yeah. So I think we got to address the elephant in the room today. I think Bean has some questions for you.
Yeah.
About some
I
paperwork.
was just gonna ask him.
Oh.
I had a little talk with him. You know, I had a little talk with him this week, and he tells a lot of these prison stories. You know what I mean? And I just wanted to see some paperwork. Actually, it's a tough subject to broach. Tell a guy you want to see his paperwork, but
Now,
so I see. I got to make sure this is real too. You know how some of those guys.
Yeah, no, they get it
Listen,
engineered. There's
yeah,
no
you know how the
question
guys
about it.
make up the fake paperwork,
Right?
Ian. You ever see that?
Yeah, what are you looking for when you're checking the paperwork? What can we expect?
Just to see. First off, I want to see his D reports.
Yeah.
He talked a lot about D reports, and then we're gonna go from there. Methodically through everything. What do we got here? How much time we got, Richie? Everywhere.
No, but the thing is, what the best part is because I think it's a subject, right, that everybody talks about, right? But I think people, obviously we know about it, right? We've been in jail, right? But there's a lot of people, like when you talk about things, you kind of talk about things like as second nature, right? Like things that we know of, right? Where people say, oh, I went to the mall, I did this. But we talk about, we went to the store. I had this problem with this guy. His paperwork was no good. We had to kick him out of the cell. And people hear about all these things, right? But they don't really know what it's about, right?
Yeah.
So when we talk about paperwork, right, what the main thing really is, we're joking around. And I mentioned something about, having a shot with Ian when I did the podcast with Ian about having a shot for people sitting in a section of a chow hall, and I ended up getting into a fight.
Yeah.
And then in the comments, people were like, oh, yeah, well, I don't believe this, I don't believe that. And I said, I got all the paperwork. And then my ex-wife come down with it all.
It's
and
crazy.
I said,
that
there it is.
It's
You know what I
crazy
mean?
that you still have it.
I'm
all.
pretty sure one of your ex-wives DM'd me on Instagram.
Oh,
Yeah.
she like McLovin.
She
Oh,
was,
yeah.
no, not in that way. She's like, all these people talking on the comments, yada yada. You got to get a real woman on there and talk about all the stories.
She got more stories than J.D. Salinger, and they're all true.
J.D. Salinger, catch her in the rye. But,
Hey, you caught that.
Yeah,
That's
cool.
pretty good, Mike.
but most paperwork, you look to see if somebody's in, what they're in for. That's the first order of business. Like if someone comes in, like you mentioned before, and I thought about that, and I said, that's terrible. You're a kid who comes in and don't know how it works, and people just see you, and they jump to conclusions. Years ago, I had a cellmate come in to Concord, and the guy was from Revere, actually. His name was, I can say his name, right? His name was Jack Jones. And when he come in, he was an older guy, and he had like a white beard, and he had bobos on and the thing. And everyone's laughing because my cell was open. You got a Skinner, you know? You got a Skinner. And I looked at this guy, and I immediately...
So people that don't know, Massachusetts, they call like pedophiles, pedos, we call them chomos. But in Massachusetts, I think it's unique
Skinner.
to Massachusetts. A Skinner is like a rapist or a child rapist. Like a Skinner is a rapist.
Yeah.
But we call them Skinners.
Yeah.
It's really unique to our area.
I didn't know that, really.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Nobody else calls them Skinners. When you say Skinners, they're like, what?
Really?
Yeah. People thought of like a skinhead or...
Right.
Skinner is a rapist.
So everyone's fucking around. The guy's a Skinner, this and that. So he comes in my cell. The guy's maybe 60 years old. At the time, I'm probably 23, 24. So 60 to me is like 90, right?
And here we sit.
And
but
here,
anyway,
yeah,
I mean, that's
sit.
a whole
Now
other
I'm the
story for
youngest at
another
the
day.
table.
Here we sit. I'm heading that way. So he comes in the cell, and he's up on the top bunk, and I'm like not really saying nothing at first, and I start saying it, right? I didn't say, hey, let me see your paperwork, but usually you ask someone, hey, what are you in for? And if the story don't add up, right? I've got those a few times. Something ain't right here. Something's rotten in the state of Denmark, as they say. And I feel them out.
That's a country, but go ahead.
Yeah. So I start talking to him. I says, what are you in for? And he says, well, we tried robbing an armored car. We got in a high-speed chase down the Linway and this and that. And I go, where you coming from? He goes, I've been in Bay State. Me, Jackie Campbell, Paul Sipley, these guys.
Yeah, he's mentioned all the right names.
I immediately got up and stripped my bottom bunk and said, do you want the bottom bunk? He was an older guy. He goes, wow, thank you. Yeah, I do. He's an old guy, right? And then I'm making sandwiches. I'm feeding him because, when you first come from another joint, your canteen, everything don't catch up with you. So I'm like, here, buddy, my locker's yours, whatever 100%. You need. So he comes in after a day. He goes, I'm out walking around the yard, and the guys I'm talking to, Jackie Campbell, who was a Charlestown guy who, along with Stevie Doherty and Arthur Kegney, killed the guy in Walpole and ripped his penis off and shoved it down his throat and then strangled him to death.
Right.
So that was a famous case in Mass. He goes, I'm out in the yard with Jackie and Paul, and we're walking around, and they're saying, I'm with this cellmate, and he's crying, saying, his girlfriend hasn't wrote him a letter in a week. And Jackie's like, kid, shut the fuck up. I got more time on the shitter. I got more time in the chow line than you got in the fucking joint. You know what I mean? Stop crying. And the other one's saying, his cellmate was a dirtball, and he smelled, and you had to tell him to take a shower. And the guy, Jack, goes, my cellmate gave me the bottom bunk. He made Bam Bam sandwiches last night. He gave me a few bags of coffee. And so he come back, and I felt good about that. I remember one time the guy Jack, I'd run in the cell. I'd make an instant coffee in the old peanut butter jar, right? I'd use tap water sometimes.
Of course. Anything goes.
Shake it up with the creamer, suck it down, and one morning he's sitting there, right? And he's got the Boston Herald out, and he's got his little donut stick and his coffee, and he says, Mike, what am I doing right now? I said, I don't know, Jack. Reading the paper? He goes, what else am I doing? Jack, I don't know. He goes, I'm having a coffee and a donut, and I'm reading the paper. I said, your point? My coffee's hot. I'm sipping it. I'm enjoying it. I go, yeah? He goes, you don't just guzzle coffee is my point. I'm trying. So me and him, it was a funny thing having him as a cellmate. We were opposites. I like to think we were both good guys, and but we got along great. And that was one of those times like you where someone looked at them and without saying, hey, let me see your paperwork, or without saying, hey, what are you in for? What's your case? They just automatically put you into that fucking category that you were no good or you were, in for rape. And that's why,
we got to check his paperwork.
That's why we got to check Johnny's paperwork.
I think if you did Fed time, they would think you were a chomo, Mike.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Think
dude,
so?
What do you think, Johnny?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. But, so I think that's
he doesn't want to admit
I
it.
think that's a testament, right? I think that's kind of a testament to kind of how that, we're shaped, right, by our own experiences. We live in these environments, some of us longer than others. You lived there for a long time. You were there for a short time, but you kind of know what it is, right? So, and I think it goes to what you were saying about you can knock a guy off in a second.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but sometimes we're wrong, right? They knocked Ian off in a second, but they were wrong, you know what I mean? So I just think it's that, there was one time where you know how housing is. So I was in a place with 2-man cells, and then there was like tanks all around. There was like 8-man cells, 10-man cells. So I see a guy come off the bus, and my buddy we had the case manager that would really do anything for us. So I said to him, hey, listen, my man, you're good. You got your paperwork. My friend's got a cell up there. You can go in right now. You know what I'm saying? And like guys like us would be like,
here it is, boom.
Yeah, no, I'm just coming from another joint. It's coming in the mail. I got it. Yeah, I'm straight. You know, I had the advantage that every place I went to, everybody knew me. You know what I'm saying? But like another guy would be like, yeah, of course. But you right off the rip when he went, I was like, all right, yeah, forget it. Next. You know what I mean?
So was he? Did you ever find out?
Yeah, he's a pedophile. You know, Skinner.
But see, no one even came up to me to give me that option.
Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah, because here's what happens when this is like the dramatics of prison. What I always say, jail dramatics all the time, is somebody will be in prison for 2 weeks, and, you see these are the guys that come in, they're scared to touch a TV, they're meek, they're in the corner. Then a week later, they're yelling, they're screaming because they see really
they get comfortable.
Nothing's going on, right? And then they think they become authorities on prison, So those are the guys. Of course, you always got to give somebody the benefit of the doubt. You never know. You know
I mean, Jared Fogle ruined it for all the McLovins in the world.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's really what happened.
Who's that?
The guy from Subway. No one would have ever
got that big
suspected
contract,
me if he was a guy who was a chomo.
But the
guy that lost all the weight and he was diddling kids.
Right now, that happened before he got that Subway contract?
No,
it was during.
Well,
it was kind of during.
Yeah?
Yeah, it was going on during.
It was going on during,
for years.
But he went to the feds. He's getting out in a couple of years. But that was the poster child of chomos in the news.
Now, you can tell them, though. They got this connection where they just look at each other and it's like...
But he just
had
the
sneakers.
Yeah,
You
their
can tell by the
eyes light
sneakers,
up.
too.
They're playing Dungeons and Dragons.
See, they do. Everyone thinks
that's
it's
what
not
they do.
true.
Dungeons and Dragons, yeah.
Dungeons and
Dungeons
Dragons.
and
Literally
Dragons.
common denominator.
Dungeons and Dragons.
The
100%.
common denominator.
They literally do
What
that at
is
Fort
that?
The
Dix.
thick
What is
glasses,
that?
which are the chonoculars, the little Reeboks, which are the chobox, and they all walk around with the same stuff and they play the games all
And
the
they got
time.
the imaginary wands in the yard at Fort
100%.
Dix. No one believes me when I say that. It's true.
No, it is.
I had a cellmate in another time. It was in Concord. I think it was an old colony with him, too. So this guy, got the Nikes on, the fade. He looks like, your everyday, like Boston, Massachusetts guy, yelling and screaming when the Patriots are on.
Right.
He did a lot of time. And I saw him in Old Colony or something, but then I'm in Concord, 5280, comes in my cell. And you'd never think he was a ripper, right? Or, whatever. Never think he was a Skinner. And I'm fucking talking to him, and hey, what's your case, right? Like everyone, I get in the cell with you, I start drilling you.
You have to.
And and he's
that's your reputation on the line.
And I'm only 52.8. I got caught like a couple nights. I ended up copping out to a bid in like Worcester County or something, and they woke me up at court in the morning. So I was still kicking dope, and someone was giving me trazodone to help me sleep. And I'm like, buddy, what's your case, right? So this is crazy. What's your case? And he's like, oh, I was smoking crack with this hooker in Gardner, Mass, and she said I hit her with a hammer. It was like the whole story, right? I'm like, oh, here we go. You know what I mean? Like this guy's no good. So
knock it off.
It was like the next day they wake me up to go to court. So that night I didn't sleep for like a week. If anyone knows, when you're kicking heroin, you don't sleep. And someone gave me a trazodone. And off to the land of trazodone, as they say. So I hadn't slept for a couple of weeks, and I take this trazodone. And I remember I was boosting at boosting shoplifting. Ironically enough. Yeah, I know.
Now we know you're making shit up.
Listen, I know that's not like me. But right before I got pinched, I was at the outlets, and I was at Banana Republic, and I was just stealing different stuff, and I stole these like box of briefs, these white cotton Banana Republic box of briefs. So I take the trazodone, and I'm laying on the bottom bunk after quizzing this guy, and I start dozing off. And all of a sudden, I have a dream. I'm sure you've done this, Johnny. I don't know. Maybe not. I'm laying on my back. I have this dream that I'm standing on this bridge that's in Lowell, Mass, where I'm from. I'm standing on this bridge, and I'm pissing in the river, right? And I'm laying back. Now, I hadn't slept in a week. I take this trazodone. I'm freaking out. You have vivid dreams on it, right?
It's retarded.
Hey, very vivid. So I'm laying there. I'm pissing in the river, and all of a sudden I wake up. You're
pissing on yourself.
Yeah. I was not pissing in the river, Johnny.
I hope you weren't on the top bunk.
Hey. So I'm like waking up. All of a sudden the cop's at my door. He's like, Lee, court. you want a shower? I'm like, yeah, I get up. These fucking boxer briefs are fucking yellow, right? So I peel them off and I fucking kick them back like this guy's stuff, like way in the back under the bed, you know? And I go to court and cop out to a bid. So I'm like, that prick was probably in the cell, right? After a week, like, what the fuck is that
smell?
What the fuck is that smell, you know? So I don't know about this guy for sure yet, but I know something stunk. Fast forward a year or two later, I'm in a club, a little gala club, an Irish club my father used to bartend at. There's breaking news, child abducted in Fitchburg. I'll never forget it, right? So this guy snatches a little girl, like 4 or 5 years old. She's in her driveway, pulls her in a car. By the grace of God, the father car was idling in the driveway. He was going somewhere. He comes walking out. He witnesses it. He jumps in his car, chasing this guy. The guy pushes the kid out of the car, keeps going. Of course, he pulls over, and the guy gets away. They identify the car. They arrest the guy. So they're telling this whole thing on the news, and then they show his mugshot. I'm like, that was my cellmate.
Yo, that's sick.
That was my cellmate, right? I'm like, that was my cellmate. Concord. I don't think you're fucking thinking I was fucking in PC or something. I'm living with this guy. But they show his mugshot, and I go, wow, I knew it. You know?
Yes.
I fucking knew it.
You
knew the guy
know.
was a shitbag.
You always know.
Yep.
All right, so I think you got to check some paperwork now to make sure.
So look, now, because last time, it was great? The last time that I had mentioned that, right? I said that I got into the wreck in the chow hall, right?
Yeah.
So this is the shot, and I remember that because I forgot a little bit. I remember the incident, but somebody was disputing the fact that, I don't believe you did that.
Well, he's gonna chirp.
And now I got the paperwork right there for the extension of time that referred to the FBI for prosecution.
This looks like a fake.
Oh,
Oh, shit. I haven't seen one of these in forever.
I've gotten
listen,
tickets.
that's 2003. That was 21 years ago.
Time flies. I
Wow,
got tickets that were
referred to the
DDU.
The
FBI.
FBI for prosecution
But
for a fight in a chow hall.
But they didn't.
They didn't prosecute.
Yeah.
But all that time I was in the hole, so I was in the hole for like 6 months.
That's how they get you.
While
when
they waited.
Yeah. So
Then I
do
got
the
the sanction.
Do they send you a letter back, decline to prosecute?
No, what happens is the SIA, which is the Special Investigating Agent in the institution, will come to you because he's the liaison to the FBI.
Yeah.
So he'll tell you that they declined prosecution. You know what I mean? And the only cases they really do pick up, I mean, obviously, if it's extreme violence, all like drug cases, you know what I'm saying? And it depends really what district you're in. Like I remember in Lee County Penitentiary when I was as a matter of fact, that's where I had that wreck in the chow hall at Lee County. But I remember they were prosecuting because they really weren't that busy out there, I guess, But they were prosecuting like
Drug cases.
Now they
Hot
really only
cases.
do phones
Wow.
and stuff.
Huh?
They do phones.
But you know what? Now shit.
The cell phones.
The
Yeah,
last
but
one.
it's so random. It's unfair.
Right,
like
it is.
they'll do like some. It depends on the state. If you're unlucky in a state where there's no high profile cases, the U.S. attorney will pick that up.
Right, that's what
and
I'm
you're
saying.
screwed.
Yeah.
Yep.
But like in New Jersey, they're not prosecuting New York
Yeah.
because they're not going to prosecute. They don't have time for all that.
That's like I know people that rob banks and, people that are dope sick, like I've done, go in passing a note, like a junkie crime. It's not like, you're going in with masks and robbing the bank with guns, and the feds can pick that up, And I've had friends that did it, go in and pass a note, feds pick it up 20 years. Just luck of the draw sometimes,
He wrote a handwritten letter. So they transferred you after this too, huh?
No, what happened was I had a friend of mine from Boston that was there, right? So I get into the serious wreck, right,
was
over
it?
there, and Gigi Portella.
Oh, yeah.
So now what he did is he went around to every single group and politicked for us, because I'm a Boston guy, he's a Boston guy, and he was the best. He went to everybody. He was like, this is my friend Johnny, blah, blah. And everybody knew me. Like there was a bunch of people that knew me from Leavenworth. I had been previously to Lee County Penitentiary, but they were like, this is my friend. All he did was the right thing. Everybody knew it was, people in society wouldn't believe it was the right thing. You know what I'm saying? But the things that we do in jail, some of the customs and the culture that we have, like in prison, and the way that we handle things is, it was shocking to people, you know what I'm saying? But everybody knew that was kind of the right thing to do, and the guy was out of place, and he was in the wrong, so he went around to everybody, and, and after it took so long for the FBI to decline prosecution for the fight, when I finally did get all my paperwork back and I was ready to go to DHO, I was talking to the AW. It was A.W. Jones, as a matter of fact, a black guy, and me and him had a great rapport anyway. You know what I'm saying? And he was like, "Listen, we're gonna do another investigation to see if it's all right, because everybody else has kind of come to an agreement that you can get back out, but we want to make sure there's no lone wolves," is the way he put it. That somebody wants to do something to him. I'm like, I'm not gonna have a problem. Listen, but I guess they gotta, cross their T's and dot their I's too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I ended up getting out. And, no problem. Just,
30 days in seg.
That's it. But it ended up being, I think it was like almost 7 months.
So they give you an extra 30 days on top of that?
Well, because now you have to, so when the FBI declines prosecution, part of, there's a procedure for everything. that there's policies, right? And it's, the program statements are rooted in policy, which are codified in law, right? Code of Federal Regulations, all the disciplinary, codes are codified in law, so that's kind of the
so they couldn't
governing
hit
principle.
you with time
but what
served?
happens is they have to serve you. And then when they serve you, what they could have did was
Time
say
served.
time served and go, but still the investigation was still there, ongoing anyway. So they just gave me 30 days, which isn't really that much. I'm saying 30 days. You can get 30 days. From
Most
anything.
people don't know, and this is the ultimate scam, is that they say in their rule books when the news and stuff reaches out and the Senate or whatever for commentary,
Yep.
they'll be like, well, what's your maximum you could be in seg for or whatever, and they'll say 30 or 60 days for disciplinary purposes,
Right. Oh,
but
yeah.
they fail to
Years.
admit it could be years under an investigation trumps all that. It's
Right.
crazy. There was guys in the shoe that I met when I was in the shoe, because I did 6 months in the shoe throughout my whole time there, and people were in there for years.
Big words.
Investigation.
John. Big words.
It's
Oh,
crazy.
you like it? Oh,
How do
yeah.
you pronounce that?
What is it? That's my appeal.
Listen, I'm well read, right? But I never know how to pronounce this.
Let me see it.
I know it's not superfluous. How do you pronounce
Superfluous. Superfluous.
Superfluous.
Superfluous is like, extra extraneous stuff,
That's too big of a word for Mr.
Yeah,
Bean.
superfluous.
Superfluous.
Superfluous. There you go. You know what? It's not that you can tell somebody's race by their name, but I've only, the only Lonnies I ever met in my life were of African American descent. I've never met a white Lonnie.
As
And
coincidence
a white
would have
Donnell.
Yeah.
I've met
South
white
Boston.
Lonnies.
Have you?
Yeah, well, that's like a... yeah.
Oh, is it down south name?
Lonnie.
Yeah.
Lonnie.
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 L-O-N-N-I.
Yeah,
Lonnie.
Well, there's a
Lonnie.
Lonnie
Yeah.
Really? That's a white Lonnies?
Yeah, I've met a lot of white Lonnies.
A lot of white. You?
I've never met a Spanish
You ever meet
Lonnie.
a white Lonnie?
Lonnie Hilson.
Really? Where's he from? Medford. Really?
You ever meet a white Beanshooter?
No, I haven't.
Yeah. Beanshooter, you look like one of those guys that doesn't flush when you drop one.
I can sneak one out every
Listen, you
now.
have to. That's a.
He's like a dine and
That is-
dash. He
I
needs
blame
that
it right.
puppy.
Listen, I blame it right on the guy next to me.
That's it.
Oh,
What do
man.
we got here? What's this? Another D report?
There's a few of them. Yeah, there was one of them. Another one for I had 2003. I only had a couple incident reports, and the other one 2003. That was another assault as
Yeah,
well.
this is assaulting a person. FCI, Petersburg, Virginia. Huh?
So
Oh,
do you
that
think
was-
the paperwork checks out?
Oh, yeah.
It looks
This is
legit.
Petersburg was. Oof, that was a hell of a.
Wasn't fun?
That was a hell of a spot, and that incident was crazy. Somebody had stole from me in the before, and I was trying to get my stuff back and trying to handle it kind of diplomatically. But that is the worst thing that anybody could ever do. Mike,
Is this Chow Hall again?
yeah, chow hall again, kid.
Wow.
You got a thing for the
I
chow.
got to think for the chow hall because you know what the thing is.
You know you're getting out of there.
One
They're
was
shipping you out.
spontaneous, yeah. But then you might say, "Oh, that's a check-in move." You got into a fight in the chow hall, but the one in the chow hall in Lee County, right? That was all as a result of the chow hall. And I had talked to the guy early in the morning, telling him, "Hey, listen, let's try to resolve it diplomatically." But this one here. This one here was a whole nother set of circumstances.
What, Lee County?
No, Lee County was one thing, but when I was in Petersburg,
Oh, yeah, that was just-
I went from I went from Leavenworth. I was in Leavenworth, and I went to Petersburg, and it was brand new. And brand new
joints suck.
They're horrible.
Yeah, they're just
TV
breaking them in.
rooms,
Everything's
TVs,
fucked up. Yeah,
tables in the chow hall. It just turns into a nightmare. But the circumstances behind that one was that somebody had stole a jug from me, that it was in storage. And I went to the shoe, and it was in a third locker, and I knew the kid had it, and I was trying to have my friend get it back, and I had some pens that I was using for tattoos, because those Uniball pens, we used to use them for tattoo ink, and so I was just trying to handle it kind of diplomatically. But then the SIA called me down there and said that I disrespected the warden over the phone, and then they called me down there at 4 o'clock in the morning to go work in the kitchen, and I was like, I'm an orderly in the unit. I ain't working in the kitchen 4 o'clock in the morning. What are you, crazy? And he was like, oh, no, you're going to work in the kitchen. You shouldn't be disrespecting. I said, the warden? I said something about the warden. He goes, yeah, well, you're getting lines over the phone with your father. We don't care about gambling, stuff like that. But, of course, you have to, you can't be disrespecting the warden. I'm like, disrespecting the warden over the phone? So that's what precipitated that. I ended up smashing the kid in the chow hall that I know stole from me.
Yeah.
And then,
what did he steal from you?
Huh?
What did he steal from you?
A jug.
What do you mean a jug?
Like a thermos.
Oh,
those things are popular in prison.
But I'm saying anything, like it sounds
yeah,
crazy.
but I didn't know.
It probably sounds absurd to people that never been in prison. I'm saying, but like if that's number one thing, right? And nobody, if somebody
fucking cell thief, scumbag.
Cell thief, then you gotta,
I was a big cell thief.
Yeah.
I was stealing everyone's honey buns.
I was just gonna say food, cupcakes. I knew it. Me too.
And I would take it. I would plant it under another man's bed, right under the pillow. Cause a lot of trouble.
Whenever someone, my friend of mine, Joe Donovan, who he did 24 years for juvenile murder, and he made that mistake with me. Hey, Mike, whenever you want something to eat, just go in my cell. My cell's yours. Whatever you want. He's like, yeah, fucking come back. He's fucking 2 boxes of cupcakes, half a pepperoni stick. He's like throwing up in the toilet. He goes, yeah, that's it. You can't don't eat my food anymore.
If you need something, ask me.
yeah. If you need something, ask me, But yeah, same way.
That is funny.
No more honey buns for me, man.
Hey, you know what I've been practicing?
What's that?
The knife up the booty, just to practice in case I ever go off to prison.
You ever seen you been at Mike's house?
No, I don't get the
Mike
invite.
lives in a fucking cell.
He lives in a cell?
Yo, you gotta take him. You gotta take him up there.
He asked you where I got my prison toilet from because he wants one for his house.
Ian,
No, he got a shank in his house.
You actually have a shank?
Legitimate, wrapped up, taped. Look, See Money knows. See Money was up the house too.
Wait, why do you have a shank at your house?
I don't know.
It's
for when they bust you for shoplifting.
That's why he's shoplifting. What the fuck? He can't make it in society.
Listen,
they don't have Instagram.
You want the easy answer?
Yeah.
Because I can't have a gun.
But you can have a shank.
What?
Get yourself a little paintball gun or an airsoft gun.
No. I mean,
no?
I got an ice pick and a shank.
An ice pick?
Yeah, right next to
You
my
got to
bed.
see. The way he lives is a cell. Looks just like a cell.
Bean, what do the cops around here think of you?
It's strange. They used to. I always had some cops that liked me, that knew my father and knew me. I like to think I was always, somewhat of a likable guy. But when I was a criminal, and then when I was, hooked on drugs, that made me even worse. I didn't have a lot of fans in the police department, but now with social media and everything else, I have a lot of them that follow me. As you know, I own a couple sober houses, and this guy I knew, he used to live in Brighton, and he had a painting business in Boston. Clatter, my guy, Johnny Loco, and he started calling me up like 3 months ago. He says, hey, I'm coming back from Ireland. I want to live in the sober house. And so I'm like, sure, So he sets it all up, and I'm picking him up at the airport, and I go to Santapio's, which is a pizza place in East Boston, just a cornerstone, a landmark in East Boston, Santapio's. So it's right near the airport. So I always stop in Santapio's, get a pie and Italian sausage, and then so I'm waiting. All of a sudden the phone rings, and it's U.S. Customs. They said, "Oh, you picking up a John O'Brien?" I go, "Yeah, I am." Well, he's going to be here for a little bit. We got some paperwork. So I said, "Well, that sounds a little strange, because I've been through customs plenty of times. I'm like, they obviously pulled them out of line, right? Something ain't good." So about half hour later, I get a call. Yeah, this is the Mass State Police, Logan Airport. You picking up this guy, O'Brien? Yeah. Well, he had a warrant, so we arrested him, and we're waiting for the bail bondsman now. So I said, what do you think? You think they'll cut him loose on a personal? Or you think there's going to be a bail or what? He goes, they'll probably give him a personal. So I said, is this Troop F? He goes, yeah. I go, a lot of those guys follow me on social media. He goes, really? Who are you? I go, Beanshooter.
Huh.
He goes, I love the video with the drone. I go, yeah, that was a lot of people like that one, you know. He goes, yeah, I know who you are, this and that. He goes, all right, just fucking, I'll have him call you in like 20 minutes. She should be here in a half hour, and they cut him loose on a fucking personal. But yeah, a ton of cops, ton of firefighters, you know. I mean, you know, Ian, we went in the New Deal down the street, and a guy in line heard you talking and said, wait a minute, did I work with you before? You know,
he came up to me.
Yeah,
He came up to you, Bean.
yeah. He knew who you were. So social media is a funny thing, you know.
And then Bean was weaseling his way in, saying, "Oh, but I'm Beanshooter.
Beanshooter.
You know who I am?
I
You
never
see my
said that.
videos? I got more on Instagram than McLovin.
I should have, right?
I should change my handle
You know what?
to
Listen,
McLovin.
I didn't have to because he's going to see this. He's going to say, wow. Fuck that Ian Bick guy. I always went next to Beanshooter Johnny Bard. I didn't even know it.
With
you know?
the Geo shirt on of all shirts.
Like cousin Gio.
Oh, that's not our.
is-
It's not our Geo.
Yeah, that's my cousin.
Oh, is that Geo that's here?
Yeah.
Oh wow, that's Geo.
Yeah.
Shit, he looks like Pablo Escobar right there.
27 straight.
He said, no, 11 straight.
Pled
Pled guilty as expected.
I need a shirt like this.
Yeah. See? Hey, listen, there's
you
a
play
market
it.
for it.
Dude.
So-
Listen, Ian, play your cards right. We'll
Throw
give you a shirt. We'll give
McLovin
you
on a shirt, man. Wow, I feel like
Yeah.
I'm chopped liver over
Yeah,
here.
yeah,
you
we
got-
got to
you
do
got-
it.
we got-
We
we
got
need
to
to
do it.
make-
He's
McLovin merch.
monopolizing off of all our downfalls over
Yeah.
here, you know?
Yeah.
At least you can do is throw me on a short shirt if you're going to run me down every week, you know?
Extort-
You don't get
Yeah.
So, do you have your mugshot? Let's see it. Do you still
No,
got
I
it somewhere?
can't. I got to go. I want to go to the Danbury police station and get it. And I could probably get the FBI one too. That's probably easy, right?
That's probably easy.
I have my one from prison. I have the ID.
Yeah.
That was the one time I lied about my height because they don't actually measure you when you get into the first place or whatever.
You're standing behind it. It has the measuring on the wall.
No, they
measurement
asked
on
for
the
my
wall.
height. I said I was
Oh, really?
6'2", so it says on my ID
No, that-
6'2".
You got to go with it. That's what Trump did, right? When it didn't say like 6'2", 220 or something.
Yeah, I fucking lied all the way
his was
through.
like 6'5", yeah, whatever. it
Yeah,
is,
so I have that prison ID, but I still use
Just tell
the
people
fake
you
one for the
shrunk.
skits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
I
want to
was-
see your original one though when you got pinched, huh?
I want to see the actual mugshot.
When you got
I
arrested,
had like blonde highlights in my
I was
hair.
gonna say, oh, you're doing the club
I
thing.
look like a
Yeah.
squirrel.
Yeah.
I had my industrial pierced, and I had
Oh, we need
here.
that.
Let me just show you the
Yeah,
picture.
Yeah, we
we
need that.
definitely need that.
We need
We
Yeah,
that.
so
definitely need
that
Did- hey,
mugshot's crazy.
Were you waiting for the other shoe to drop when you got pinched? Did you know it was coming? Was
you
it?
know it. There's no federal. He knew when he was under federal investigation.
So you were waiting for you.
you
knew,
know when
knew it
you're
was
when you're
coming.
under federal investigation,
Yeah.
you don't. It's not unexpected.
Yeah. Oh, sometimes.
No, I don't think so.
Look at Gio.
Yeah, well, that's a whole nother story for another day.
Yeah.
Let me see this picture. You guys are gonna get a kick out of this one.
He saw
Yeah,
them.
'cause
Saw
that
them
ain't-
getting raided.
That ain't my that
Getting
picture
ready,
of
I
me
mean.
isn't my
This is high
mugshot.
school McLovin.
Wow.
Look at this fucking guy.
Huh?
Are you kidding me?
What a stud, right?
Yeah, well, I don't
How
know.
old were you there? You look fucking like
11.
12.
That was like 16, 17.
Wow.
I got the baby face, man. I still got the baby face.
I was gonna say, what happened?
Yeah,
I mean,
it's crazy. I went
I
to
still
jail
got
at
the
17, and you know, at the time, you think you're like, I don't know, you know. Then you see pictures of yourself, you're like, Jesus
That's
Christ.
the day
I'm
I got
fucking
out of
big.
prison.
Wow, you look happy.
I had the glasses I got from the joint.
Yeah,
They had
those
like
are
an
the Joan
eyeglass
Oculus
program,
kid.
yeah. And then I got jammed up. I got a
how
shot.
couldn't you knock this kid off for a rip?
I
You know
got
what I'm
my
saying?
first incident report in the halfway house because the News Times publishes this article and uses this photo of me when you know you're supposed to go straight from prison to the
Yeah,
halfway house.
right.
So it showed I stopped at home
Imagine
in my
Really?
prison clothes. Yeah, they
Really?
gave me an incident report, 100 series shot.
you got a shot.
They almost sent me back for that shit.
Jesus.
You got 100 series.
Yeah, 100 series in the halfway house.
So
100 series shot.
I mean, that's the thing that. So
Oh,
you
this is me in the nightclub right
let me
here.
see.
Oh yeah, that's what we want to see.
Look at that. That's me with the glasses. I had Chomo frames out there. You see that shit?
Look at this guy.
The little pedo stash right there. You see that?
Yeah,
no
no.
tattoos.
Yeah, hey,
That was me.
those guys weren't wrong for knocking you off.
that,
like
that was me. That's how I look like
Those
going
guys
into the
weren't wrong for
joint, man.
knocking you off like
Here,
that.
this is what I would look like in the mug shot, like that. See that?
Wow.
Yeah, You
That's
look
me.
You still look super young. How old were you?
Look like
I was
you were-
19 when I got
Yeah,
indicted.
yeah,
That was I did an interview with NBC. My lawyer and the government's like, don't talk to anyone. As soon as I got a new phone, because they took my phone, NBC was calling me, and I called them back, had them at the club.
No
Oh, what do you
way.
mean? You was on bail?
Yeah, I was on bail. I got my bail revoked at the end.
There's Gio right there. Why don't you show him your shirt?
There's 11
Gio,
straight.
I didn't know you got your own shirt, man. It's pretty crazy, man. I got to beg to get a shirt made with me.
I got one for you.
All right. So we checked your paperwork. Bean, you got any records to show us?
No,
Listen, I'm the only guy on the whole planet
Yeah,
that
who the fuck saves all their shit? He's still got his coffee
This is
cup
gross,
from the
man.
joint.
Can you explain? Well, look at this. Can you
I know.
explain why this is normal in prison right here?
Listen,
This is
normal?
the grossest thing ever. I would never drink out of a cup like this.
Listen, because you know what the thing is if you get a cup of coffee and you drink it for a long time, this is how it's going to come, right?
Yeah,
So
100%.
this is like
all those,
years
all
and
those
years
canned
and
cups,
years.
even the
like
smaller
everybody
ones.
say you have a washer, I'd be like, washes?
Yeah, guys don't wash it.
No.
Why
you
would
don't.
you rinse it?
Yeah,
Because
no
the
one
thing
washes their
No.
cup.
Why? If you
Yeah, it tastes
needed,
like
if you
fucking
needed a
soap.
cup of coffee in a pinch, you just put hot water in it.
Yeah, resin.
You guys
got
are
coffee.
Like a
nuts,
crack
man.
stem. You clean the resin.
You've
This
always
is, listen,
loved-
this is, and Bean was like this. He was like, "Hey, you should like, epoxy this." I go, "You might as well just clean the cup if you're gonna start fixing it."
See,
I
there you
mean,
go.
All right, so wait, were you
Yeah,
a Keefe coffee, a Maxwell, or what was the blue bag? Maxwell's red, right?
yeah, no, that's the Taster's
Taster's
Choice.
choice.
Taster's
I'm a
Choice is
Taster's
red.
Choice guy.
That was the
Taster's choice of
$8
the
one,
Keith
right?
Kitchen Columbia.
Now it's like $14.
All right, but so Keefe, when I was there, was
The yellow
$3.95.
bag,
Was
yes.
$3.95.
the yellow, but they had the black bag, the Colombian. I get that sometimes.
We didn't
You
have that. So
Yeah, the
we had the red one, the
Yeah,
red
the
bottle.
Taster's
That was
Choice.
the red one was
Oh, and
Folgers.
Folgers. That was the middle one.
terrible. Yeah.
And then blue one is the most expensive.
No, they had the red Taster's Choice too. The Taster's Choice came in a like a flimsier bag.
That was the most
Hey,
expensive.
but
Yeah.
how about this? That coffee, the instant coffee,
Love it.
with a little powdered creamer.
powdered cream.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's how I would make my
Yeah.
cheesecakes.
Yeah.
with
Well,
the
now I
powdered
drink
creamer.
black coffee, but
That's what I
that
like.
coffee is
Speaking
the best.
of black coffees, that's what we need. Right?
Yeah, that coffee.
We need an order cappuccinos.
Where is he, Chris?
Chris, we need the cappuccinos
Listen,
Espressos.
and an
Where's Chris? Is he
espresso.
here?
It's hard to get an
Chris,
espresso
can we get a few
around here.
espressos?
Yeah, we're trying.
we're at Volare in Revere, by the way.
Oh yeah, no, we got to give Chris a shot.
Yeah,
Chris
yeah,
is the
come on.
best that
I don't
ever
know
did.
how to pronounce either one of those words.
Volare.
Valari,
Revere?
Three, please.
Valeri and Revere.
Volare and
Volare.
Revere.
Volare.
Volare.
You never heard the
Volare.
song Volare.
No,
Volare.
Valeri and Revere.
Not Valeri.
Volare.
Vo.
Valeri.
Lare.
Volari?
Volare.
Volari.
Hey!
Hey.
Kid, you're the
McLovin.
smartest kid in the room. Come on, I
Volare.
mean, you know,
Volare.
In Paul Revere's town.
There you go.
this ain't Paul Revere's. But it's
yeah,
Wait,
but
is
he's-
Revere named
Revere.
after Paul Revere?
All right,
Yeah.
yeah. Well,
I'm
Paul
gonna say
Revere's-
yeah, I
See
don't
money's
know.
from Paul Revere's town.
don't know.
Not then.
Is Revere named after Paul Revere? The town of Revere? Huh? Yeah,
a
no,
good
yeah,
assumption.
exactly. Yeah.
Are
The
you a
answer
big-
is yes.
Are you a big Paul Revere fan?
Yeah, huge.
I like
He-
the only thing Paul Revere I like is from the Beastie Boys.
Yeah, that's
Beastie
a good song.
Boys?
That's a
The
good song.
Beastie Boys, that's our thing.
Yeah.
The Beastie Boys.
Absolutely.
Car Thief.
Oh man.
Me
Yeah.
and Mike cemented a relationship on Car Thief
Yeah,
by the Beastie
and I put
Boys.
that on you like that.
So how did you two meet?
How did we meet?
So, Ika, right?
Oh yeah, Ika
So,
Block. Where is he? He's a Revere kid.
Ika reached out to me, and I think I was out of jail for like probably about 3 months. And Ika reached out to me, this kid I know, Jason Calnan, that I was in prison with. It's a friend of Richie's too, a friend of all of ours.
Yeah.
Good kid, solid kid from Revere. And he was like, hey, what's up? What are you doing? I was like, hey, what's up, buddy? He was like, hey, Beanshooter wants to have you on his podcast. And I'm like, what the fuck is a Beanshooter? You know what I mean? And he was like, no, it's a kid. Listen, he got a lot of people. He's a good guy. I'm like, yeah, all right. I mean, he goes, I'm gonna hook you up with him. I'm gonna hook you up with him. I go, okay, cool. You know. So, I mean, this is when I just did a podcast with my friend Adam from Gritability, Adam Clausen. He's the kid I always talk about that got 215 years. I had just done that podcast with him, and what happened was I was in the process of doing another podcast, and somebody caught wind of it at the halfway house, and my case manager called me up there and said, you know, she was trying to, be the advocate here, saying, no, listen, I don't care what you do, it's great, but, they can violate you for that if you do any more podcasts, or if you're not supposed to have any contact with media, because I had just signed my papers to go to home confinement. And I was like, no, I didn't know that, And she goes, well, you signed that as an agreement. She goes, they could violate you for that. So I didn't do anything. So me and Mike talked, and we had finally talked, and that's when I heard the song Cat Thief. I was looking at his stuff, and he had a reel with Cat Thief, and I was like, oh, I like this guy already, You
gotta check that song out. So when I first met him, so I heard his name for years because my friend Spiro was locked up with his co-defendant Greg. And when Greg got out, Spiro picked him up, and we all went out together, and he got some motorcycles at this place in Billerica, and so we were talking. So I always heard, Johnny Bart and Free Johnny Bart, and in my head, I had this vision of what he would look like. All right, so most bikers, like when I grew up, the bikers were all, the long, greasy, no offense, I don't offend bikers here, but
you can't offend me.
The image of the bikers I had in my mind were, leather vest, sleeved out, big pot belly, like maybe one of those little
goatees with the elastic right?
on it, like fucking Captain Lou Albano, So, I'm picturing this old guy, So then I get his Instagram and I look, and the first video I see, he was at, where were you at, like a rehab or something? You were talking. And
oh yeah. I was at that was the Brockton Rotary Club. They asked me to speak at the Brockton Rotary Club, a friend of mine. And I did that,
and I looked and I'm like, no, this can't be him talking. You know what I mean? Because I already had a preconceived notion, of what he'd look like, and I'm like, this guy looks like a fucking bank robber from Charlestown. That's the first thing I thought. He looked like like a Charlestown guy or a Southie guy. He didn't fit the mold for what I thought as a biker. I was just like, no way. I just, when you picture someone in your mind, then you meet them, and it's totally different. But,
I didn't think biker.
No,
right?
I
didn't think biker.
No.
What did you think when Travis called you?
Hey, listen, I bet a lot of people made that mistake.
What do you think when Travis called you to do my show?
No, so Travis, how did I get hooked up? Oh, you know what? So Travis Cullen, right?
Yeah.
And he's big into the movement of freeing all the prisoners from any cannabis prisoners.
Oh yeah,
he's very socially active in that.
Not pedos, don't worry.
No, but no, kid's a good kid.
Maybe
Great
you can
kid.
get that off my record.
Yeah.
The old trafficking 100 pounds.
He said, hey man, he reached out to me, so I get this DM on Instagram saying that, hey man, I got a lot of respect. I never, it's a message. You know how those messages come where you accept this message? Or,
the request.
A message request.
Yeah.
So he goes, hey, man, I've heard so much about you from Casey and all the guys from Boston. I was in Fort Dix. And, he just went on to say all these, great things. I was like, oh, all right, he went on to kind of pump my head up a little bit. Yeah. And he was like, I heard you threw a pedophile off the stage in Fort Dix. The legend's always larger than life, right? Everybody has you running around a jail with knives taped to your wrists, right? But so when I got back to him, I was like, hey, it's cool. What's up? Blah, 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 this and that. He goes, I got my friend. I guess he had just done your show.
Yeah.
He goes, you should do Ian Bick show. He's a young kid from Connecticut. He's a good kid. And I just did his show, and I'm going to reach out to him. And that's kind of how we established contact.
Yeah, he said he was
the
talking
kid
to
that
you.
just did the show that
Travis Cullen.
Travis Cullen.
Oh, all right.
He's a social activist for anybody that's.
He was
You
on your
just
show?
posted pictures with him a few weeks ago.
You remember he had that big van that got the
He was
pot
here,
leaf
right?
on
Was
it?
he here?
No, that's the other guys from the other show. No, that's from the How You Doing
But
show.
yeah, and then I
understand.
slide into his DMs after he says he talked to him,
Yeah.
and he hits me back right away, and we hopped on a phone call. I was at the airport,
Yeah.
and he called me.
Yeah.
Johnny was scoping me out,
Yeah.
making sure I was good people.
I remember he was telling me, he's like, I'm going on
Right.
to see Ian Bick. And when I did that other dude's podcast here, Matt Cox.
You did Matt Cox's?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so what was up with him? No, people don't like him or something?
Well, he told on a case, but he comes right out and says it. Yeah, but I told.
When
I
did you
told
do-
you.
Yeah. Oh, I
It's
didn't
fucking-
know
When
that,
did you
yeah.
do Matt Cox's?
I don't know, 6 months ago? 8
Really?
months ago?
How did it do well on YouTube?
I don't look, dude.
I'm gonna look.
I haven't looked at eyes. I don't look. You know?
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, I had Matt Cox at my studio before.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's yeah.
Yeah. He'll
He
tell you straight up. I
snitched on
fucking tell-
people in prison
Oh,
to
my God.
reduce his sentence.
He's such a weasel. You got to respect it.
And
a
on
little
the
bit.
top,
He's a straight stool.
You know
He's
what he
such
would
a-
do?
He's such a worm.
his
the character.
you know what
that-
his prison
yeah, it's-
hustle was?
What?
He was all right,
Changing
man.
people's paperwork in prison. That was his hustle.
No way.
That's what he would do to guys.
Listen, he's a strange bird, right? He told me he did like.
I'm not going to get
Listen,
to know him. That's
he
for
did
sure.
like 11 or 12 years. He never bought a pair of shoes. He wore state boots the whole time.
Nice kid.
The
You
guy
thought
made
I
like
was cheap.
the guy made like The guy made like, how much did he make? 20 million?
No, more than 20 million. I think his restitution's like $100 million.
Hey, you know what I decided to go on a show? I mean, I didn't know all this. When I saw that he was on American Greed, I love that guy's voice. This is Paul Winfield. In the summer of 2002.
Do you know Sean Scott Hicks?
Dude, it's the guy I exposed.
Not the fraud.
I exposed him. They put an article in the Boston Globe over it.
Wait.
I exposed
he's
him.
a stone cold fraud. That's who you asked me about?
That's who I was asking you about.
No,
Dude, you don't know what I did, but it's just good.
No, I just saw the picture of his book right here. That's why I'm asking.
I exposed him.
He wants to be on your show?
I was talking to him earlier, yeah.
He's a piece of shit.
Are you serious?
Oh, listen,
That's why I asked
we
you.
should
You can't make
sandbag
this
him
shit up.
and get him.
Yes.
He's a hunk of shit fucking
listen,
I know
scumbag.
that there was people.
Fraud.
Who just
Don't
took,
get me going again on
Who
him.
just took? No, go ahead. No, tell.
Wait, what's his story? I want to
He's
hear the
supposed
story.
to be Whitey Bulger's hitman or some shit
Yeah,
like that.
wasn't
He's
he?
a fraud.
He wasn't
Mike
Whitey-
exposed
Nobody
him.
knows him in South Boston. He never lived there.
Who's
not
the-
a soul.
who just
Kevin
fucking-
Weeks? Who?
Sent you big praise through me about exposing that guy. Who is? Man.
Dude, but he said that there was a bunch of snitches, like the mob snitches, that tried to sue him about his book coming out because he was
That's
exposing
being
them.
these guys. So he's the fucking piece of shit.
Yeah, listen.
PC's a PC from fucking Dedham. He PC'd Viking in the shower with no shower shoes on. Oh, just an animal.
I thought he was like the hitman for the... No, he wasn't a hitman?
No.
Listen,
Nobody knows him.
I can't believe you can't
I
make
know,
this shit
this
up.
But he's making money
you
now.
Can't make this
I
shit
know.
up.
He's making money.
Yeah.
He's
Okay.
got like a production thing. He's selling his story rights. Hollywood's buying his story.
No, they ain't.
Well,
they're
he's
not no
making
more.
money.
Who said
He
Hollywood
got the
buying his
book.
story?
He
did.
is, yeah.
He did.
No.
Yeah.
He said he's in production for this, woo, woo, woo.
Not no
Hey,
more.
see, he's the best PR guy.
He's a conniver.
He is the best PR
Mike put
guy
him
for
out
himself
there.
that
You
you'll
didn't
ever
know
see
that?
in your life.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I thought he was actually the hitman.
No, I exposed him. So when it first come out, this is what happened.
Holy shit.
Somebody messaged me and said, "Do you know Sean Hicks?" And I'm like, "No, never heard of him." You know, I remember a Jackie Hicks. I think he was from East Boston.
Jackie Hicks from East Boston, yeah.
I go, I remember a Jackie Hicks from East Boston, and
Wow,
I go,
that's
no.
funny you know Jackie Hicks.
They go, just years ago, I remember him in.
Yeah, in the
I remember
joint.
he got out and bailed out
Yeah.
somebody,
He was always
Stefanelli.
in
He
the
got
joint.
out and like posted the bail from, and I was like, wow, what a good dude. But I go, no, I never heard of him. And they said, oh, he said he was, this guy and that. And I know a lot of people that he was mentioning. And I'm like, I don't even want to call them and ask because I know this guy's a fraud. I saw a clip that he was on this podcast with this guy from England.
Yes, that guy's the
Yes,
big guy.
And I
that's-
watched-
He went viral for that.
Oh yeah, it's still going.
Yeah.
Other people post it and it goes viral. So once I heard him talking for 2 seconds, saying he was, he had to cut people's fingers off to get him to talk.
He said, "Who are you most scared of?" Myself.
Yeah, and cauterize him with a blowtorch. I'm like,
fuck.
now I don't even have to ask anybody. This guy's an
So
absolute fraud.
There's no way it's true.
Zero, nothing.
Zero.
The
But
whole
is he
thing's fact.
actually from Boston?
Nope. He has a weird accent too. He'll be like, he has.
Yeah.
Wait, but why
he has
didn't-
these little things.
How is there was no one else in Bulger's crew that could have exposed him? They're like, where's the
Pat Nee and Kevin Weeks, and I had Kevin Weeks on my podcast. Pat Nee wouldn't come on because this guy, I don't know, he's like scared. I think of this.
So where
guy.
do these stories come from? They got to have some baseline.
I know what.
So he.
Did you hear of him back in the day?
No, I never.
So
never
this-
heard
this
of
is
my
how-
life. I only
this
heard
is how it all
when somebody
happened.
Yeah.
messaged me saying Mike exposed
Howie
him.
Carr was, not Howie Carr. Howie Winter either just died or he was still alive, I think, but he was real old. And Wahlberg was
Mark Wahlberg?
yeah.
Okay.
Wahlberg was filming, I think it was Spencer for Hire. Because the Boston Globe reached out to me and did a big story on it. They interviewed me and how I exposed the guy and just
Oh, yeah, I knew there was a lawsuit with the Boston Globe,
said he was
too.
a fraud. Yeah, he's lying in a lawsuit. He's fucking. They called him up and he talked to him, but he shows up at Wahlberg's thing trying to be an extra with like a scally cap and a black leather jacket on, and
Oh, thank you.
he
Awesome.
told
Thank
he
you,
told
bro.
anybody
Look at
within
that.
earshot.
None for being, right? Don't give him any.
No,
No, don't give him any.
he told.
Anybody that was in earshot.
Yeah, he told anybody within earshot that he was Howie Winter's nephew, and he ran with this. I'm Howie Winter's nephew, who was a gangster.
That's a Winter Hill gang.
Yeah,
But that's not why it has the name. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it
just
just-
coincidence.
yeah, just
Jerry
coincidence.
Farina, how he went to those guys. Yeah.
So he started telling everybody he was Howie Winter's nephew, and that was when people first heard
Thanks,
it
Chris.
because he told the Boston Globe reporter he was Howie Winter's nephew, and the reporter goes back to what's her name? Who did the story? She's really cool too. I got her on my phone. But he goes, hey, you know this guy? He's Howie with his nephew, and she's a mob reporter. What the fuck's her name? I'm drawing a blank. She's a mob reporter for the Globe, not McPhee. It's driving me nuts. So she calls up Howie Winter and says, hey, this guy's saying he was trying to sell T-shirts or something. Like, I'm Howie Winter's nephew, whatever the hell it was. So she calls him up and says, and he goes, I never heard of him, Guy's a fucking just some nut. So she goes, oh, you do an interview? He goes, no, I want to, I don't give a fuck. Let people say, I'm their uncle. I don't care. So years later, when someone brought it to her attention, this whole story about me exposing him, she called me up to talk to me.
Shirley Murphy?
No, yeah. Shelley Murphy.
Shelley Murphy.
So Shelley calls me up, and she says, I want to do a story on this guy who claimed he's a hitman in South Boston and all this stuff. And she knew she goes, I remember him from years ago when he was saying he was Howie's nephew. And she goes, I called Howie, and, nobody had ever heard of the guy. And I'm like, this fucking guy, he got balls, though. He'll just gaslight everyone until they believe he's something he isn't,
But the other part to the story is that he knows where the big heist is of that museum.
heist.
So
the Ara heist. He keeps saying he was talking to the
that was
FBI.
like Miles Connor and stuff like that.
I had him on my podcast, Miles Connor, the biggest art thief in the fucking world, and I know the lead investigator for the Isabella Gardner Museum, Anthony Amore, and they called me up. So when I first exposed him, I started getting phone calls from people, Kevin Weeks, hey, thank you. Pat, hey, thank you.
Yeah.
Investigators, police. Like, we've been watching this guy just lie and lie and lie. Thank you for somebody who has a platform. Because if you watch my old podcast, I blasted this guy. Like, called him out. Now I got his daughter messaging me. His wife, he just threw out, like, yeah, he's a scumbag liar. He said his kid killed somebody when he was 14. That big thing that went viral was...
You almost fight Ian Bick.
Look at Ian's loving this right now.
Stud.
No, yeah, but you guys got to understand, as an interviewer, I'm like a journalist, so I have to interview different people.
You don't have to.
Yeah, interview them and find out why.
No, I'm just saying, like, I can't be like realistically, I can't be like a rat-free podcast or a fit,
No, but he's a fraud,
Yeah, I get that.
But it's up for the audience to decide that. Like, if he shares a story, right, and then the audience could...
Well, I think that would be interesting to have him on then.
Well, I'd like to get him in here. Tell him to
he
come
wants him in here.
Yeah, should bring him in here. Should just
The way
come in
he said
and
some
fucking
disparaging shit about you?
Yeah, he should come in. He'd fucking bitch up, no doubt.
We're doing non-violent.
This is non-violent.
Stick to your shoplifting.
Listen,
that's how much I hate
robbing
this
shit
guy.
out of fucking stores.
Yeah,
right.
Fritos, poor Fritos,
threatening to beat people up.
No,
I'm saying, my mother warned me about people like you.
Bean,
you can't have
Bean, you come off as this nice, friendly guy.
Ian, you can't have him on.
With no more turkey neck, and now you're just this mean criminal without the turkey neck.
I know.
You like that?
How long does it take for the scars to go away? I kind of feel honored. I got the exclusive, the last episode you ever did with the turkey neck.
Yeah.
The last one.
Did you see Charlie Sheen did it today?
Yeah.
He cut his turkey neck?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I almost met him 2 months ago.
Really?
I had a filming thing I had to do, so I couldn't go to his house.
That would have been cool.
But you were about to go do fucking that other fake podcast in Vegas, remember?
Yeah, they reached out to me again recently.
What
one?
does he say to Sean Michael Kelly? He's a
they
fraud.
reached out to me again recently.
He's a fraud.
The broad, yeah.
Yeah, he's a fraud.
Like,
What does he say to you?
It's like
Yeah.
some girl reaching out to me.
What is this? Over-the-counter medication?
That's it. That's what all you get in the shoe
Stool
right
softener.
there. That's it.
He likes his stool softener.
What's the other shit? Metamucil.
That's all. That's all you could get over there. You couldn't get nothing. All you could get is over.
So this was a good one when I put this guy on.
What's Selsun Blue?
Ian.
shampoo.
Shampoo. Ian, you never look at this one. Oh, you got to see this one.
You fell for it, but we're gonna have.
Hey, Ian.
Speak a little more.
Who's that?
But,
Who?
One of Sean Hicks' victims we put. Look, watch.
Victim?
Look at
do you want me to tell you what I remember from that day? Yes, please. I remember bundles behind him, but I remember it was a fucking some broad. Oh,
Ian.
she was famous back in the 90s. Pamela.
Anderson?
Yeah, Baywatch. Yes. Yes. This Centerfold tape to the back.
The old centerfold tape to the back trick.
What a mess.
Yeah. I'll tell you, I stood in the corner and it's okay. I had a good time with myself. I'll tell you that. Bundles was no joke. No. But thanks. Took it like a champ.
Took it like a champ.
You know what? It was weird because it was like a woman moaning instead of just fucking grunting. Usually you grunt. You know what I mean? To make it like you can take it. Yeah.
Yeah, fucking
Yeah, like,
tripping.
and all I could think was, that's how Pamela fucking was moaning.
Who is the fucking guy with the fucking? Who's the guy with the fucking bag?
That is one Mr. Robert Jokas.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's a sick.
So what's
sick kid.
happening with your podcast, Bean?
So this is what's happening with my podcast.
Johnny shut it down?
Yeah, well, he called me in for a sit down. It was something like this.
Yeah.
You know, we had a little espresso, and he told me, so fucking Ian's coming into town, and
We're being partners, and that's that.
You can't do anything. No, so what happened with my podcast was very sporadic since I started it. You know, I put one out 2-3 weeks in a row. Then I'd go away, and I'll put one out for a month, then come back. And then people are telling me, like, I was paying the kid $100. You know, it's super cheap, right, to edit it and upload everything. So there wasn't a lot of, like, the guy, Cox said it, you said it, you know, thumbnails, putting it on. I wasn't doing anything right, like thumbnails. You got to do thumbnails. And, you know, I don't even know what a fucking thumbnail is, right?
Yeah, it's your
And-
thumb with a nail through it.
Something like that.
Yeah.
So that's about all I could do roofing. Maybe drive a nail through my thumb.
And
That's
shoplift.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, that's what you
So-
can't even. You ain't even. You've never been on a roof in your life.
What were you talking about?
You were talking about something that time you took a noodle up you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The ramen?
Yeah, it was like a ramen or...
Before it was cooked. But
Oh, it
then
was
when
cooked?
it came out, it was cooked, and I fed it to you.
Nice. I fed it to you. I tell the jokes around here. Ian. I'm telling the jokes around here.
Holy cow!
Holy cow.
Oh, Sean Hicks. Oh.
I know, huh?
Wait, what was the story he was telling?
Listen,
before?
what a PR guy he is. He gets on all
He's
these big
capitalizing.
things.
Yeah. When you're a hitman for a big mob like that, you know.
Yeah. Oh, my
So
God.
isn't there anyone in the Winter Hill or whatever mob he was a part of that can verify his story or not?
Yeah, I didn't want a
verify?
guy on my podcast. He's like, never heard of him. He goes, if I ever met that kid, he'd be in the trunk.
So he was in.
No. Complete fabrication.
That's wild. I got to start fabricating shit.
Yeah, I know.
What club do you think I'm a part of?
Complete fabrication.
Can I say I'm like with the mob or something?
Yeah, just say you were
What do you
Howie
think I
Wint-
should say?
Howie
Just say
Winter's
you were Howie
grandson.
Wint-
Can I say I was a,
Howie went this hitman.
What about Johnny? What if I start saying I was a shot caller at Fort Dix? You
Yeah.
think
Yeah,
I
you
get away
were.
with that? Like if I come out with
But
a
listen,
video,
isn't that
No.
what people? Isn't that
I
what
can't
people
get away
do?
with that.
No,
I'll be like, hey, listen. So I was a shot caller on the biggest yard.
Yeah, isn't that what people do? That is the biggest yard.
That would
bro.
actually be a really funny TikTok if I like sit
That-
down
yeah,
seriously.
Fort Dix is probably the biggest. I think they got the most people out of any institution.
Yeah. I should
'Cause they
literally
got-
make a
it's two
funny
jails.
TikTok and be
Gio,
like, listen,
people
I
are
was a
already trying
funny
to order your
TikTok.
shirts. I'm like, who's Rocco? Rocco G. Tell Gio to bring me a medium.
A schmedium. You getting the calls for schmediums, kid?
People are saying, tell Gio to bring you to the Sons of Anthony. The
Dude,
Sons of
I just
Sicily.
want to know what it's going to take
Sons
to
of
get.
Sicily.
That's Boola's place.
Yeah.
All right, all in favor in the room of Gio coming on locked in, say aye.
Let's
Aye.
go.
Aye.
Want to put a bag over your head, Gio, like the guy I had on mine?
Yeah,
Is he?
Richie, are you going to do locked in next time I come? You're going to do
Yeah.
it?
Yeah.
Oh, Richie's doing locked in, baby.
Here we go.
Hey.
One Richie Gillis,
The one and only.
street legend in Boston.
Yeah.
Definitely, without a doubt.
Yep.
Yeah, we
In
want to
the
find
joint,
out how
too.
many meatballs they got smuggled in at the chow holiday.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Hey,
you guys
know,
played
you know,
together?
hey, you know Teddy Sutherland? We got to get
course.
Teddy on here, right?
I know.
Teddy
Where is
Sutherland?
Teddy Sutherland?
What? You
He's-
talked to him still?
yeah,
I
he
went and
talks
saw
to
him, I
him
went and
too.
saw him in
He's-
Gloucester
he's
during
in
the
Gloucester.
Greasy Bowl, right? So he'd say, "Oh, Johnny Bart, tell old poor sport."
Poor sport.
Tell old poor sport.
sport.
I said hello.
Get a lick of Fred. You actually did his voice pretty good.
All right, so Bean, let me ask you a serious question.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm sure Johnny wants to know too. Why do guys wear sunglasses on podcasts?
Because of the fucking light. I can't stand
Johnny,
it.
you think this is true?
I mean, I hate the light, not for nothing. I'm saying.
Take
but
Oh, put those
think-
back
yeah.
on.
That would be
Holy
like-
cow.
You want to know why I wear a baseball hat all the time?
Joe,
Because I'm
Joe.
bald.
See
I mean,
this?
you know.
Well, you
I,
don't-
I take the hat off. People say, "Oh my god!"
The
what
girls
the hell?
love it, though. The girls love it.
But
The
hey,
girls love it.
Yeah, bald's in.
Ian,
you look like a
another thing,
daddy.
right? The
Yeah.
light sensitive thing at night, I can hardly even drive.
Really?
I
hate
feel
it.
like every car that's coming at me
Hate
has
it.
these super bright high beams. I can't even see.
That's like a new thing now since I've been out
Well,
of prison.
I don't know if it's
the,
me
the
or that,
headlights are
but-
on 8 billion.
Yeah.
But I might get the eye surgery. I just flew
I mean,
my
you got
girl-
every fucking thing else done.
I just flew my girlfriend down to Columbia, and she got the LASIK. She's had glasses. Well,
thought y'all broke up.
We broke. Yeah, she's my
Yeah,
ex
yeah,
now.
okay.
But she had glasses and she was 14. Now she can see perfect.
Yeah, regular lights.
You know what? I told her. I says, I'm like fucking a miracle worker. I gave you sight, and you don't. And you,
Sight and cock.
yeah, you don't even reciprocate. No, I gave you sight.
She doesn't put out for you?
She ain't putting out nothing right now.
Wow.
She's
You're
not
in the
happy.
doghouse?
out of the
Yeah.
house. That's about
Yeah,
it.
she's not happy with me.
Bean, why don't you
She
find...
told me to move to Columbia because that's the only place where I'm happy.
Well, when's your next trip? Because I'm coming with you.
I think in January.
All right. Count McLovin in.
Do you want to go?
I'd love to.
Really?
Yeah.
You know what's great about you?
I'm down for whatever.
Well, like pretty much all of us in this room. We don't have a 9 to 5. We can just be like, hey, let's.
We live a pretty good life.
Yeah, Johnny's still on paper, so they give him a little bit of a hard time. When can you leave
So
the
I
country?
put in for Vegas, and they denied me.
Those
and now I put
cocksuckers.
in for Florida to go down for Thanksgiving. So I'm
just say your
waiting.
family's there. You know, it's
My
Thanksgiving.
family
it's
is
the
there. That's where I'm
holidays.
going. I'm going
Yeah.
down to see
You know
my
what
brother.
it is? They watch those videos in Vegas where all the bikers come in the fucking
Yeah,
casino.
they
And
wanted me to.
then
They
there's
wanted me to go
there's
like I was
fucking
a
30 other
ripper
ones.
or something. They wanted
Yeah.
me to go register at like Vegas. 30, yeah, like there.
Yeah.
See, we were saying he was saying Mike was saying Skinner. I said that's
Ripper,
that's,
yeah, Ripper, Skinner.
A
yeah.
Skinner that's unique to like Boston area. Nobody else has that vernacular. It's either like a chomo. They call them chomos. That's what
Yeah,
Ian would
they
call them.
me
A
a
chomo.
man. I wonder what they think about all your thumbnails that say Hell's Angels Enforcer.
Yeah, well, I mean that's the hook, right? That's why I got 150,000
That's the
views.
hook, man.
Yeah.
That
Is
made
that
you
the
go.
hook?
Yeah, it's clickbait, man.
That's what it is.
Clickbait.
Yeah. I got to put Beanshooter as Big Dick Bean.
Big Dick Bean.
Big Dick Bean.
Well, hey, whatever you got to do to get them click on
BDB,
there.
baby.
That's what I say about the broads, right? They can call me that. Then by the time they find out it's not true, it's too late. I already smashed.
What do they call you in Colombia? Mr. Bean?
Hefe.
Hefe? It reminds him of his drug dealer days.
What? Oh, yeah, Papa Azuka. Sugar Daddy. That's what I said we were in the car earlier. Papa Azuka.
I think Chris is the only one that's
How
got
do you
the
say it,
upper
though?
hand.
Isn't it Azuka the Papi?
Asuka.
Azuka. No, but you put the Papi afterwards,
Papi.
right? No, Sugar Daddy would be Azak.
I don't even know if that. There's got to be
Azuka
another
Papi.
term for it.
Bean, I feel like you got a good massage
Amate.
parlor story.
Oh, I have a,
Do
I
you?
have-
Who don't?
I have a few.
Yeah, why don't you guys each share your best massage parlor story?
I mean, what's there to talk about? I mean,
But there's never a shortage of content. I'm saying, you know.
We just bring up Sean Scott Hicks and he's rolling.
My best massage parlor story. I mean, the first one that comes to mind is, I probably already talked about it when I got out of rehab in Florida. The first time I went to one, I'd never been to one, and this guy picked me up. He was from around here. I think he was from Revere. Do you guys know this guy, Michael Sullivan? Real con man. He lost his leg. I think someone fucking saw him on the corner somewhere and drove up with a car and
Whacked
drove
him?
over him and he lost his leg.
I never heard of him.
Oh, he's. No, I know there's a lot of Michael Sullivans. It's one of those fucking names, right? A dime a dozen. I
Not
know.
around here.
I know 3 of them, but this guy's from Revere, in Cambridge, but he picked me up when I got out of rehab, and he was running some sober houses down there, and he just took me in the bank, threw me some money, and he took me to a rub and tug, and I'm like, I'd rather just have the $100 you're gonna spend right now on me, because I can put the 100 in my pocket and go rub one out by myself.
There you go.
In the
I like
fucking
it.
bathroom, right? Because I was broke at the time. And actually, this guy, I'll tell the story now. Fuck it, it don't matter. He was suspect in my eyes anyway at the time. So I get out of rehab and he picks me up. And it was the first time I'd been sober in a while. And I, detoxed from heroin and methadone and everything. And they had me in this place in Florida, the Florida house, for like 2 months almost. And this guy started coming up, going to meetings. He's like, are you Mike Lee? And from, are you the same one? Are you friends with this guy and that guy? And he started dropping a couple of names. And I'm like, I was a little leery of him. I'm like, yeah. He's like, oh, I heard your name. I didn't think it was the same guy. And hey, I'm running these sober houses down here. I can get you in it. And then he brought me up like cosmetics and, a bunch of stuff, it's stuff I didn't have at the time because no one was coming from Lowell to see me, Mickey Ward came to see me out, when I was about to get out, but no one coming to see me. And so he brought me up some stuff I needed and he was really nice. And he picked me up the day I got out to get me in the sober house. He's like, don't worry, you don't need money because I was broke. And he took me to that rub and tug spot and threw me a few $100. And I mean,
so you got the money too.
Listen,
Wow,
yeah,
better than you.
But it was amazing. The whole
Getting tugged?
yeah. I mean, it's the whole deal. It's not just getting the tug, right? The massage, the whole thing. I mean, God bless the Asians. I mean, this is they cornered the market on this, and they're good at what they do, right? But it was great. I went, and I was like, I was fucking pumped. So I leave. We're driving down A1A. And he says to me, hey, can you get rid of any perk 30s in Boston? And I'm like, and I remember thinking I had detoxed from heroin and methadone and Xanax and everything. And I've been fucking doing shit forever. I'm like, I'm down in Florida. I don't know anybody. And he said that. I remember driving down A1A like, I could go to fucking Alaska, and this is what happens.
Yeah.
The second I'm around, I'm telling him no, I can't. And a month later, I'm fucking, I'm doing what I had to do while I was down there. But yeah, that's when you talk about rub and tugs and massage parlors. That's just the first thing that popped in my mind. The first time I went to one. How about you, Ian? How many rub and tugs?
I've never been to one.
Fucking make
You never
love,
been
man.
to one.
I've never been to a.
You're in luck because in Boston it's a thing. They got them in New York too. They got one with just guys work.
I got a funny.
Look at you.
So-
There you go. As luck would have
I got a funny. I'll tell you my first time at the strip club. All right, I tell the jokes around
Yeah,
here.
where
I tell
was
the
it?
jokes.
I tell the
My
jokes
jokes,
around
Dad.
here. So I was 18 and I'm on Sunset Boulevard in LA.
Yeah.
And my friends are like, let's go to the strip club. So we had a limo drive us, right? We're 18. We're in LA.
All kinds of money.
Yeah, we're
You got
driving.
robbed by a stripper.
Can you listen to the
I'm
whole
not.
story?
I'm just throwing that out there before you
Bean,
tell the story.
this story-
I'm just throwing it out there.
This story deserves a fucking Grammy
right,
for
come
this
on,
one.
let's
All
hear
right,
it.
all right. So I'm driving. I should have known this is the bad sign. We got into an accident in the limo, right? Our
Yeah.
driver rear-ended someone. So we're in the middle of Sunset Strip. There's smoke, yada, yada. He refers us to his cousin, a new driver, and his cousin's cousin owns a strip club, picks us up in an Escalade. We get to the strip club. He was like, is this everyone's first time? I'm like, it's mine. It wasn't the other guy's first time. And everyone's like, to me, don't fall in love with a stripper. I'm like, well, why would I fall in love with a stripper? That doesn't make any sense. I know not to fall in love with it. Well, like $2,000 later,
Yeah.
I got this girl coming back with me because I fell in love with her in the back
Ain't no
room.
question.
Yeah.
She wrote me in a hook, line, and sinker. I'm in love with you. We're going to date. And I'm this 18-year-old kid, and the lights are like off, and I'm thinking she's the hottest person ever,
I mean,
right?
the lights are off. You're in the strip club first.
Well, they're like dark. It's dark. You don't see how she really looks without
All right.
the makeup and this and that. So I bring her back to the hotel, and she's like, oh, I have a friend. It's like, sure, bring the friend. We get back to the hotel room. I'm like, let me get a second room just for them in case anything goes down.
Yeah.
So I get a
well played.
Yeah, I get a second room.
Seen that
We're
movie.
in this hotel room. Lights are on fully, and I'm like, these girls are not really that hot, right? They're on my bed. I'm 18, really baby face. My arms are like spread out on the bed, and they're on top of me, like
Do you have your socks on?
humping me. I got all my clothes on. No, I got all my clothes on, and I'm just like sitting there, like I want to bang. Like, what's going on? They are like, pull out the bigger money, and I'm like, I'll just give you the singles. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm throwing singles on the bed.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, I hear sirens and cars and all of these things. So I get up. I'm like, hold on. I look out the window. These girls are like hanging out on the bed. I look out the window, and on the whole strip, FBI jackets, DEA, fucking SWAT team, everything outside, like surrounding the hotel. I'm thinking they're there for me. So I'm like to the girls, get the fuck out, get the fuck out. I gotta go. They walk out, put their trench coats on, their coats on, like half naked out of the hotel. Come to find out that the cops are doing like a raid outside somewhere entirely different than the hotel. I get back upstairs to my friends. I tell them what happened, this and that. Next morning, I go to my pants. Like I pick up my pair of pants.
Nothing in there.
I knew how this was ended.
They didn't take the money. The smell on the pants was the most
Get
foul
outta here.
smell
Wait, what-
I've ever
what are you
had.
talking about? They
From their
sitting on your
pussy
lap?
juices was all on my pants. On my pair of pants. I threw the pair of pants out.
Hey,
it
listen.
was so bad. I was sick.
Did you get their phone number?
No.
Yeah, you don't want it.
Yeah,
so
you know
listen.
what I mean? No, I might. It sounds like my kind
I
of girl.
got an even better rub and tug story. You ready? So listen. So of
Yeah, it's probably
course,
the best thing that could have happened. To him.
I've been in prison for 1,000,000 years, right? So my rub and tug story is from the joint. And no, it's not another guy.
Oh,
of course,
thank
right?
God.
So
We would have
You
had
gotta
to call
pass.
Gio over
you
here.
gotta. I wouldn't tell it anyway, right? No.
We would have had
So-
someone smack you up.
So you already checked my paperwork. How did I pass already?
That doesn't mean if you like men or
Alright.
women.
So I always said, right? I remember I was in Lee County Penitentiary. I started seeing the phones come out. I started seeing all the flip phones, and I said, all I want, right, is I could do another. I had about 20 years left at the time. So all I need is a blowjob and a flip phone, and I would just be good for another 20 years, right? So I ended up getting a Virgin Mobile and a hand job at Fort Dix. But anyway, I settled for that.
Wait,
right?
who'd you
Anyway,
get the hand job from?
So listen. So
Kid
I'm in the hole,
Kid
right?
named McLovin.
So I'm in the hole in Fort Dix. I'm in the hole in Fort Dix, right? And so you probably know this, but they only have a certain time where you can get a visit. So it was either like 8 to 9 in the morning and 1 to 2 in the afternoon. That was the only time you could have it for the shoe. And it was 1 day a week. So the person that was coming to see me, would have to wait. And sometimes if she didn't get in at 8 o'clock, she'd just wait there until 1 o'clock because you only had 4 visitors.
Yeah.
4 and 4. And if there was 20 people that came at 8 o'clock, you were dead. You know what I'm saying? Then you'd have to, if you were the 9th or the 5th person, you'd have to wait until 1. So I remember that day, right? I'm just pacing in my cell and I'm saying, my wife's supposed to come. The person I'm supposed to see is supposed to come. And they're like, yeah, wait a minute. They run you around crazy anyway. And then you just wait, and it's the worst, most stressful time ever, waiting for a visit in jail. Now, there's no loudspeaker. You don't know who's there. You can't look out a window. You can't see anything. So finally I get the visit. And now when you go down for the visit, you're wearing an orange jumpsuit because you're coming out of the shoe. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I remember this time I have a real baggy jumpsuit on. For some reason, I like to have a nice tight jumpsuit,
was good.
look good.
It worked out good, right?
It worked out tremendous. so I got this. All they had was like some 4X baggy jumpsuit. So I go there, and I'm in the middle of the visit, and then you're here at the visitor bench, and you're in the shoe, so you're close to the officer. The officer's up there on a big bench, sitting down, you can see everything, right? So I remember that I'm just, I used to get a cup of coffee because you couldn't have coffee in the shoe in Fort Dix. But,
You're flying when you have that cup of
she used to
coffee,
come and just get me 2 coffees. I'd give her a hug, start down on the coffee, and I'd be like this,
Yeah, flying.
looking for the rock I never dropped. You know what I'm saying? Because you haven't had coffee all week.
you're
And then you have a
flying
cup
when
of
you have
coffee,
it,
you're
yeah.
all zinged out.
Yeah.
It was great. So she started putting her, she just rubbing my arm and stuff, and she's like rubbing my chest, got a hand in there, and I'm like, hey, come on, you know what I'm saying? Be careful. Then she starts working her way down, and I'm like, hey, and I'm like, hold on, wait a minute, hold on.
yeah.
And then I just hold my jumpsuit right here, hold it out a little bit, and then it was just like free reign. Then, as they say, the rest is history.
Yeah.
So that was a good rub and tug right there.
Yeah.
That was like the best. Then it was like, you coming Wednesday?
That was the best visit you ever had.
Yeah, I had a few of them like that. It was pretty
Yeah.
good,
That's
right?
like that first hand job at the movie theaters in 8th grade,
With the popcorn over the
with
thing,
the
right?
popcorn, the girl sticking her hand down your pants.
You know what that movie? You know what that's from? What movie that's from?
What movie?
Dinah.
Dinah.
Mickey Rourke. Steve
Oh, yeah?
Gutenberg. Yeah, he's got the popcorn. She's reaching at it, then she screams.
Nice.
Yeah. Yep. Classic movie.
I thought maybe it was Better Off Dead. I want my $2.
Yeah, that's a great one. Who's that? Cusack? Who's in
I
that?
don't know. I think so, yeah.
You'll be getting a call later.
Yeah, I know.
Oh man,
But
that's funny.
now listen, so many of those stories, like you talk about Rev and Tug, but I mean, that is obviously what you try to do. And I mean, when I finally got to a camp, when I finally got to minimum security, I mean, we were escaping from minimum security. I remember doing a video, you know, with my wife eating like a beef teriyaki stick, saying, well, I snuck out of jail this morning, but the hardest part's going to be getting back in. And everybody's like, you went back? I'm like, I'm in a camp. What am I going to do? Escape? I mean, you know, there's no sense in that.
Yeah.
You know,
But,
my first time running out of the camp, because I wanted the adrenaline rush.
You was at a camp
I was
too?
at a camp, and I was the
Where'd you go?
Oxford, Wisconsin.
Oh, you went to Oxford. That's a nice camp,
Yeah, I was
too.
out at night. I would say that's even as nice as Otisville. So I had like fucking 4 months left on my sentence. I had no business doing this, but I'm like, fuck it. Let's do it, right? I wanted the thrill of it. So I go out there and I run.
Fucking daredevil over here. This guy,
yeah.
he went from
Ran
McLovin to
down
fucking
and got
Steve
a pint
McQueen.
of
This
vodka and some
cocksucker.
Chinese food.
I go and get a bag for someone. I didn't need the money, but it was like
Right.
$200, another phone, and like
Right,
protein
right.
food, right?
Yeah.
I go and get the bag, and everyone knows when you're running outside because you have your lookout. If your phone rings, you're in trouble.
You got to
They're
get
calling
back.
a
You
count.
ain't going to make it for the
Yeah.
count.
So I'm running out. It's the snow because it's Wisconsin. I got the boots on and everything. I'm going through the snow, chucking it through. I get the bags. First off, everyone lies when they say how many bags there
Right.
really are. This is my first ever run, and they took advantage of me. Yeah, they were like, it's just one. It was fucking 4
Hockey
black
bags. Wow.
garbage bags full
Really?
of shit. And it's just me. I would have brought someone else because the other guy that was with me was running to meet up with his wife or whatever and hopped in the car. That's how I found the path. So I'm hauling these through the woods. It's the woods. It's like this big island of woods from the road, and then there's the camp.
Right.
And every 2 feet, I'm putting the bags down, looking at the phone, repeating the process. All of a sudden, phone starts vibrating.
No.
God.
I see it's my friend, and I answer. He's like, count, count, count.
Oh, my
I
God.
drop the bags, run all the way back through, make it through. They weren't counting. It was just the truck was coming to bullshit with the guy.
Put you
So
on
they
a
thought it was an
dummy mission.
emergency count. The bags get lost in the woods. That was my first time in the woods. I don't know where the bags are. The guys had me go out the next 3 days
And track
looking
'em
for these
down.
bags. I had to trace my footprints. It was snowing again.
See what happens when you
I
do
found
someone
the
a
bags,
favor?
and because it was cold out, the McDonald's was still good. So we were eating 3-day-old
Listen,
McDonald's.
McDonald's would have
from
been
the
good
woods.
10 years from then.
I had my dad drop us off a bag too. He put it in a guy's trunk at the motel who was banging his wife,
Right.
and the guy brought us back. And you can't bring the wrappers in, so he undid all the McDonald's, wrapped in the tin foil, took the protein powder, put it in the creamer jars, did everything for us. The shoes.
Oh, your old man.
Yeah, my dad
Solid
broke it
guy.
all down, real solid. He
Mr.
came to
McLovin.
visit.
Solid
Yeah.
dude.
No, we got to all hang out with him. He'll come up here when you guys come to Connecticut.
Yeah,
you know?
I definitely want to check out your cell you
Yeah,
got
definitely.
going on.
I want
That's-
to go see the studio.
Yeah,
too.
you guys got to come.
I
Next time
told
you
you I
come.
wanted to get the stainless steel.
That was $1,000.
I told you I want to get the stainless steel toilet for my
Yeah.
for my cell.
There's actually one near New Hampshire's out this way, right?
Yeah.
right
Yeah,
near me.
I found one on Facebook Marketplace in New Hampshire.
Where was it, New Hampshire? Any
You
idea?
got to just look on Facebook Marketplace.
I don't know.
But it wasn't worth it for me to go all the way out here for $600. I paid the extra $400 to get it shipped.
Yeah.
So I got the toilet. It's a
So
real
Lowell's
deal.
up near New Hampshire, depending on what part of New Hampshire. I go to visit my friend who just got out the other day, and New Hampshire, it's a crazy statistic, right? Where it's like, man, I forget what it was, but I want to say 78% of the inmates are in for sex offenses in New
Really?
Hampshire. You can look it up, some crazy thing.
What do
So-
you think it is?
So I don't know. It's a high amount, and he was telling me these two brothers just got caught because they get these phones now, but you can't have internet on it. And they went to Walmart, like these kick phones, and they got the same type of phone where you can connect to internet. And they caught them both with fucking child porn. Like he's
Oh, my
like, dude, everybody in here is a Skinner. So I went to visit him, and he gets the phone. I take him out to eat for a nice steak. So we go back, and he's way up in Concord, New Hampshire. It's it's
Far.
probably an hour and a half from me, hour and 20 minutes. So when I leave, I jump on 93 North because, like, when I'm in town in Boston, when I go back to Lowell, it's always 93 North. When I come here, it's 93 South. So I'm up there by the prison. I drop him off. We go out to eat. I get on 93 North. It'll go forever to fucking Canada, right? I'm driving for 10 minutes. I'm like, none of this looks familiar. Then I'm like, oh, my God. I got on 93 North. I got to go south back, to where I'm from, towards Boston, to Lowell, and fucking Dude, right when I'm fucking turning around the highway, I get on. This kid calls me. He goes, "You didn't see me fucking running after your truck down the middle of the street screaming?" I go, "No." He goes, "I left my phone. If they call this phone right now and I don't have it, I'm going to get fucking lugged." I looked, the cell phone they give him is right in my truck.
Is it
and
ringing?
And there's a GPS in it. So, like, he can't say, "Oh, I dropped it somewhere," because they're going to see everywhere it went, the restaurant, and then drive all the way back to Lowell. He's from Lowell. He goes, "You got to come back." I go, "Good thing for you, Bri." I get on the highway going the wrong way. Drove for about fucking 20 minutes the wrong way. I looked up. I go, "I'm at exit 16 in Concord." He goes, "That's the exit. Get off." And I had to go back to this minimum security thing. He goes, "Pull in. There's a dumpster right next to it. Just get out like you're throwing trash in the dumpster and just fucking put the phone on the ground. Fucking bounce." So I did it. He called me 5 minutes later. He's like, "Got it, man." He's like, "Dude, you don't know how stressed I was." He goes, "I'm trying to remember your phone number. I'm getting the last 4 numbers." Like, he had it one off.
I know.
Like 4051. He's dialing
Imagine leaving your
5401. Yeah, he was losing his fucking mind. You know, he thought he was going to get fucking lugged. So
You know, I bought one of those little mini booty phones
Did you?
for the cell.
Yeah.
Guys would have those. I
No,
think
what
me and
is
you
it?
were
What
talking
is it?
about
I don't
it.
know nothing about it.
It's
It's
called
a
a
thumb
finger
phone.
phone.
Yeah, finger
Thumb
phone.
phone or a finger phone. They used to call it, the Spanish dudes used to call it de el dedo. It's a finger, right?
And it's
Yeah.
plastic.
Because it's this big, right? You can text on it too. You got to
Yeah.
hit the button 3 times. But the phone is actually like
how come I've never heard of this?
it's the size of your thumb. It's a little because
And
it's
you could
easy
plug
to
headphones into
easy
it.
to boost,
Yeah.
easy to hide.
But it's really just for calls.
Calls.
And guys would
You
put
put
in
your
their
headphones
hat.
in it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah?
you put your headphones, it's got a jack for your headphones, and you walk around like it's a Walkman in your pocket.
Yeah. It's easy to use.
Yeah, and then you could actually get shook down, and I mean, if you're good enough, you could
There you
get
go.
away with it. They ain't
Yeah,
gonna find
those
it.
are easy to hide. You put them in a coffee bag, anything like that.
Yeah, unless they're really looking for it.
Yeah, unless they know you got one and
Yeah.
they're in there because
Yeah.
somebody fucking.
But
told
most of
them.
the hits for phones, someone dropped a kite.
Yeah.
100%.
Someone
Because they
fucking-
go exact. They're in it because what they do is so they go into the room and then they put up the curtain at Fort Dix when
Yeah.
they're doing a raid.
Yeah.
So they put it over so you can't see where you're looking because
Yeah.
when they do a raid, they run up into the building, go directly to that room like 4 people.
Cover
Then they put a
everyone's window
curtain
first, right?
and
Well,
everyone.
they cover one because it's like 12-man room.
Yeah, and then all the inmates that are in that
room.
room are in the hall trying to listen in to see
Oh,
where
yeah.
the people are. But normally it's quick. They put the towel up, they search the room, they
know
find
where
it, and
it
then they
is.
come out, and the COs hold all the shit in their hands.
Yeah.
Like,
And
look what we
then they
got.
go, and then the guys that got popped are like, "I'm done." They pack their bags, get called to the office, and that's it.
It's over.
You don't see them again.
You know what? That was the craziest thing for me, because if I ever had a phone, if I was ever using a phone, I would be like completely paranoid. You know, walking back and forth, looking. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There would be guys that would fall asleep with the phone on their chest. That's how they get
Yeah.
arrested.
Yeah, guys would be really lazy,
With the phone on their chest. Imagine going to sleep with a phone,
Or-
watching a movie.
Yeah.
or they leave it in the light charging. That was the number one mistake too, because they go they check the lights
Yeah.
of the battery
Where'd you keep yours, Ian?
up the.
You tucked it, right?
I tucked it.
Veteran
I
move.
tucked it.
tucked it.
Veteran move.
You know what he had?
tucked
And he had one of them suitcase phones too from before. They were really tough
Dude,
to get up
I'm a
there.
little wide. It still hurts, man. It still hurts. It still
Yeah.
hurts.
Fucking suitcased it.